Met when we were 9, started dating at 12. Mind you, this was that middle school type of dating. He cheated on me when we were 15 or 16. At this point we were on again, off again, which continued until we were 17. I got a full ride to a university across the country for athletics/academics when I was 18. My first and only semester there, I hated the team and the coaches, and I had no friends. He flew out to visit me and we got engaged at 18 years old. He flew back a little over a month later and we had a courthouse wedding. I came home after the semester finished. He was 18 and I was 19 when he joined a very difficult/prestigious branch of the military. He left for 3 months for training, which was difficult, but we did fine. He came back for a few weeks and then left for a few more months for school for his particular job. During this time, I would later find out, he signed himself up on Bumble, and paid $50+ in upgrades for more swipes. He insists he never met anyone from it and no conversations that he had were ever anything more than introductions. He also, again, I would later find out a few years later, spent over $600 at a strip club. He says he was pressured by seniors to go and ended up paying for a VIP room for one of his buddies because he got the room and then didn't have the money to pay for it, and my husband said his friend was going to get into trouble. That weekend, he would go up and down the coast going to various clubs and another strip club from what I've gathered. At 19, we moved states and got our first house together. At 20, he deployed. This would be a very difficult time in our lives, and even more difficult after he got home. He developed a pornography addiction while deployed. I remember sitting on the bathroom floor at 4 in the morning refreshing one of his social media accounts, I could see his following numbers go up about every 5 minutes. All porn accounts. He pressured me for pictures and videos and I would feel guilty for not doing the things he wanted, and I felt like if I didn't he was just going to find someone else to do it for him. He came home 6 months later and we were okay, except I noticed after a few weeks that as soon as he came home from work he would practically beeline it to the bathroom and shower for 45+ minutes. Sometimes I would even go into the bathroom after and I could tell he dropped the bottle of lube on the ground and it was still slippery. Or I could see the ring on the counter from the bottom of the bottle. I did my best to ignore it, until one day I saw a charge on our account for $30 to someone with a very interesting name. I confronted him and he immediately looked away, took in a deep breath, brushed his hand through his hair and sputtered out a quick excuse that it was his buddy's wife who bought them all lunch during work. I don't know why, but I said okay and left it at that. He got up a few minutes later saying he felt sick and went to lay down. I got a text from him an hour later saying he was sorry and that he developed a pornography addiction over deployment and he sent money to a girl for her premium Snapchat or something. He says he felt so guilty he didn't even look at anything and he deleted her right after he sent the money. I realized that the day this transaction took place, he had bought me flowers. He has never done that before, not even on any special occasions. From here on, the dates get confusing for me. I don't remember what happened first or when or how far apart, but I'll do my best to include as much information as I remember. Sometime later. Maybe weeks, maybe months. I woke up to a message from an old acquaintance on a certain social media. I think we were still 20 or maybe 21. I don't remember what exactly she said, something along the lines of "I just wanted you to not. Al Forex said this to me" or something like that. He had messaged her the night prior, whilst drinking at a friend's house down the road, that he loved and missed her. I wish so badly I could remember more, but for some reason I can't. I know she said something like "You can't be saying this, you're married," and he said something along the lines of "I don't care." I screamed at him to wake up, but he was still drunk. I told him I wanted a divorce. I locked myself in the bathroom and hurt myself because I wanted to feel anything other than how I felt at that moment. I don't know how much time passed. When he opened the door, he said he didn't send those messages. He said that he left his phone plugged into the speaker and his friend was using it to play music. He said his friend must have seen the girl's story and messaged her trying to get nudes. He even pulled out his phone with proof, a text conversation between him and his friend confirming that the friend had messaged her and said he was sorry. I don't know why, but I believed him immediately. I remember having the most euphoric feeling of, I don't know what the word is, but whatever you feel when you let out a breath you've been holding and say, "Oh, thank God." I'm getting frustrated writing this because I'm realizing how much I'm forgetting and I feel like I'm missing something. At 21 I think, shit hit the fan. I think at this point I had gone through his phone several times and found internet history and links that he had clicked through one of his social media accounts to hundreds of different OnlyFans sites. One night I went through his entire dollar account history since 2018 and found the charge for the strip club and Bumble. He said the Bumble charge wasn't him, it was a senior who used his card because his had gotten frozen or something ridiculous like that. I of course, believed him. I don't know why. I can't remember at what point I found out that he lied about messaging the girl on social media. I think as after I had looked through his phone again and I found text messages between him and his friend that was the one who allegedly sent the messages. His friend said something like, "Bro, I can't even go to parties that your wife is at because she hates me lol," or something like that. But they both confirmed what I didn't want to believe. My husband had taken my phone, deleted the messages sent to me by the girl, and got his friend in on this elaborate story. I can't remember when I found out that he did in fact download and pay for upgrades on Bumble. I think I just knew at this point he was lying, and grilled him long enough that he relented. He said he never met anyone or anything, and he said during the conversation, I only paid for the upgrade because no one would ever swipe for me. Or something like that. I can't remember at what point we went to legal on base and got information to file for divorce. I'd never seen him cry before besides one other time. After we got married, at the airport, he cried so hard and he wouldn't let me see. Just hugged me and buried my face in his chest so I wouldn't see. He said he didn't want to leave. But he cried constantly after I told him this was it and that I had an appointment and paperwork filled out to file for divorce. I'd never seen him like this before. Constantly saying he was sorry, deleting every social media account he'd ever owned. Crying at the drop of a pin. Saying things like he will never marry again, I could have everything in our savings, he'd pay for me to finish college if that's what I wanted. I relented and we went to marriage counseling. He stepped up, a lot. He was never on his phone anymore. Would keep his phone unlocked and face up on the table. Told me I could go through it any time I asked. Promised to stop watching porn. He even started cleaning the house and making dinner before I got home from work. He stopped drinking with his friends. It was a complete 180. For a while. The issues started to rise when every little thing would trigger a panic attack. He couldn't hang out with his friends without me freaking out. He began drinking with his friends again maybe a few weeks later. One night he wasn't home by the time he told me he would be and I just broke. I ended up in the hospital and it was just the start of this toxic cycle. He would do something that would trigger me, whether it be drinking with his friends or the occasional YouTube short I would see in his watch history of a half-naked woman with her tits out and bouncing up and down. I would scream at him and berate him and degrade him because I wanted him to feel exactly how I felt. I think marriage counseling eventually helped a lot. After the hospital I finally got my own therapist. She was my best friend. I still text her to this day. I didn't have any friends where we lived. He worked with his friends every day and every weekend they would all party. I didn't have anyone. My friends and family were back home. I'm shy and have really bad social anxiety and I've always had trouble making friends because I can't seem to ever open my mouth when there's more than 3 people in the room. Whenever he would leave to go anywhere, I felt so alone. I think at 22 our marriage really started improving again. We went on vacation together and were able to work through a lot of issues and we were able to communicate things we were feeling and it was amazing. We both felt so hurt and we were able to find happy mediums on issues and relayed boundaries that each of us respected. I was 23 when I moved home a few months before his contract ended. He tied up his loose ends on the house and work and he moved back home with me. He tried working a night shift blue-collar job, making good money, even more than he made in the military. But he hated it. He hated everything about it. He missed his friends and his job. His friends were his family. This was the first time I'd ever seen him truly depressed. 5 months later he joined a different branch of the military. I didn't want him to. I wanted him to stay and have a normal life with me. I wanted to work normal jobs and have a family. He doesn't. He said he doesn't even want a family. I had started nursing school and my best friend whom I hardly ever got to see had a baby. I finally had a group of friends and family I was able to hang out with every week. He left and got stationed in a different state, but only about 600 miles away this time. Far, but drivable. He came home for a visit after only a week of being there. We were doing good at this point. Texting and calling a lot. A little over a month ago he left to go across the country for a 6-week exercise in the desert. He didn't have his phone for most of it, but he was able to text me once over a week ago. He didn't text again after that, until I messaged him letting him know that a pet of mine had died. He replied immediately. I've realized that he has had his phone, but just hasn't been talking to me. Yesterday, he texted me in the morning letting me know that he was going to spend an upcoming holiday with an old military friend from his previous branch, and then the holiday after that he wanted to go see his extended family in a different state. We've talked a lot since then, not about anything good. I've asked why he's pushing me away and he said he's focusing on his goals. I said I felt like I was being put on the back burner until he was ready to acknowledge me and our marriage, and I tried to tell him he didn't have to be alone and that I would support him. He said, "You can't though. You say you can, but you didn't support college or the CIA, so I kinda felt I should just do this alone and get rid of some of the negativity." And I realized he was right. He brought up college when we were about 21, maybe 22, and I actually scoffed at him because I didn't realize he was being serious. I didn't believe he could do something like that. He barely graduated high school. He went to 4 different high schools total, never getting above a 1.5 GPA. I tried doing his homework to keep him afloat, but he didn't care. I even got him enrolled in the same online academy that I attended, due to public school not fitting around my athletic schedule, and I had to do every class and every assignment for him because he would never do them. He ended up graduating from what you would call an alternative high school. After telling me he wanted to go to college, he then told me he was going to join the CIA. This was just unfathomable to me. I didn't know what to do because he wanted my support, but I also didn't want to lie to him and tell him I believed in him. I guess I still don't. And I feel awful, and I can't imagine the feeling of your spouse not supporting you unconditionally. I don't know how to support him in something I just don't think he can do. And now we're here. Neither of us want a divorce. Both of us know our relationship hasn't been the best. We both don't know what to do. I would feel so lost and empty without him. I've known him for more than half of my life. Our personalities are formed around each other. We talk the same, we have the same mannerisms. We experienced growing up together and becoming adults together. I just want to add that these experiences I've listed were the worst times. We've had amazing experiences together. We have so much fucking fun together. He makes me laugh more than anyone else can. He knows everything about me and has been there for every important moment in my life. I'm absolutely terrified of the future. I'm scared to tell my family if we get a divorce. I don't want to be another statistic. I know we got married young, I know we are a military family, I know that. I know that most of these marriages ended in divorce, but I really fucking thought we were different. I don't want to start over. I'm almost 24 and I know that's still considered young, but I've known him for 14 years. I thought we would have started thinking about having a family together by now. He just wants to focus on his career and says he doesn't think he even wants a family. I don't know what to do anymore. If you're still here, thanks for reading. I apologize if I'm all over the place. I haven't ever shared all this with anyone. I'm embarrassed of my situation and feel at a loss at what to do anymore. I'm really nervous to read any replies because I think I know what they're all going to say. Update 1. Hi everyone, it's been almost a year. I can't believe it's been almost an entire year. I don't think I've ever made an update like this before, so hopefully I do it right and it's not removed. I meant to update sooner, I really did. But I have been busy living my life to the fullest extent possible. I can honestly say I didn't even think it was possible to enjoy life this much. I have never experienced happiness like this. I'm honestly having a hard time putting it into words how amazing my life has become. I filed for divorce probably within 48 hours within making that post. Papers were signed a month later, divorce was finalized 2 months after that. It was completely uncontested, we shared no assets, no children, thank God. It was actually a lot easier than I expected it to be. Honestly, the hardest part was telling my family, especially my mom. Everyone loved him so much because I, unfortunately, made him out to be so perfect. It was pretty much a slap to the face for her to find out. I felt awful. She cried for days. But she was so supportive of me. Everyone was so damn supportive of me. I turned 25 soon. I decided to get my nurse practitioner's license. So that's the track I'm on right now. I've made an incredible amount of friends this year. If I'm not working, I'm out having fun. I'm always doing something fun every day. I'll try to reply to any comments, but you know, I'm so busy these days. Smile, I have truly begun to find myself. And I'm fucking awesome. I am capable of so much. And I am brave. I am so brave. I did make one special friend from my original post, Bethany200300. Thanks to you and my best friend Katie, if you guys are reading this. Thank you for keeping me accountable and loving me unconditionally. I really didn't realize what a horrendous situation I was in, at least, not until after I made that initial post and received so many eye-opening comments. Lots of people were right though, I did already know the answer to my question. It's actually kind of weird thinking about it. It doesn't even feel real. Whenever I try to think about my life over the last couple of years, I can hardly remember anything. It's almost like I'm trying to recall a story that someone else told me. Anything that I do remember, I recall almost like I was a spectator, or an invisible third person in the room. And I just think this poor girl and what she's going through, I can't even imagine how awful. It just doesn't even feel like it was me. My real life started as soon as he was gone. We don't speak anymore. We haven't really spoken much since December. One of the last interactions we had, he was upset about the divorce and regretted it, and then he proceeded to threaten that he would murder anybody that I dated in the future. Yes, it's documented to the best of my ability. I don't think he would ever actually do anything like that. He hasn't even been back in the state this year. I think he's too busy. Last I heard through the grapevine, he got drunk, had a one-night stand, and got some girl pregnant. She wants to keep the baby. He doesn't. I think she even took a brick to his car and smashed the shit out of it. If I could give him one last piece of advice, it would be to start a savings account for this poor kid's future therapy bills. And to ask him if he ever realized that almost all of his monumental life mistakes have been committed under the influence of alcohol. But alas, it isn't my problem. He will never hear from me again. And I can say that with complete happiness and confidence. To everyone who said I wouldn't do it, and that I wasn't capable of leaving, fuck you, and thank you. I did. I did leave. I didn't walk, I ran. I fucking sprinted. And I didn't look back. Thank you, Reddit, for helping me save my life. To anyone who may be going through something similar. You can do it, I believe in you. If I can do it, you can too. The other side is brighter than you could ever imagine. Now next story. Boyfriend belittles my self-published book and mocks my passion for writing, then accuses me of tearing him down and refuses to communicate. I am 35F and he is 35 male, and we've known each other 10 years and dated too. He knows how much I like writing books. I self-published a kid's book last month and he's been really quiet about it. This past weekend at my family cookout, my father mentioned the book and how proud he is of me, but BF walked inside saying he was grabbing our drinks. At the end of the day, my parents offered me some money to go to a book convention and BF audibly scoffed. On the way home I asked what his deal was and he said that his job, he's a back-end software engineer, will provide for us and he will let me have my fun as a creative for now, but I eventually have to grow up. I laughed because I assumed he was joking. He of course was upset and told me my meaningless book was objectively illustrated poetry. I shut down and he then was upset I was acting mad, so I changed the subject. He continued to make my book a topic by jokingly saying my glorified illustrated poetry shows my middle child syndrome or that I must crave mediocre attention from people. I shrugged and replied, hey, if you think you're mediocre, okay. And moved on. He texted me the next morning saying I tore him down and was being a bully. Nad, he was kidding with me and he hasn't at all responded to me since. I am away on a planned work trip and now I'm overthinking it maybe. Ada? Update 1. Edit to say I'm calling him Chris her. Hey y'all on mobile, but had to posy this because what a time to be alive. I broke up with Chris a few hours ago. Boo oi howdy. He had ignored me for a full day and I hadn't reached out to him because I was honestly fed up with his attitude. We've been together for 2 years and I never have seen him act this way. I flip-flopped between maybe he was having a bad day or something was going on and he transferred his negative energy in my book, but no, he's just soggy moldy baby carrot that didn't think I had dreams of my own or I would throw it away for him. Our mutual friends have told me that he had basically told them that I rubbed my success in his face and made him feel like a simp just following his GF around being ignored when he has a successful business and has the higher paying job. He texted the day after his silent treatment that my not reaching out to him was a sign that I don't love him and went on to say that I love my book more than I love him because I neglected him while working on it. And then I didn't praise him at the party as my biggest supporter. The rest of his paragraph's long text went on to talk about that he had this whole plan that he would marry me and we would be engaged this year, but then you started not listening to me to drop things and focus on us, our lives and the future by taking up hobbies, and that my therapist poisoned me against him. I was diagnosed with depression this year and therapy has helped a lot. It hurt because I felt immediately like all I do was just rubbish to him. How the fuck can you say that? I loved him so much because he was someone I thought I would be with forever. Guess not. I got angry and was texting him to ask what makes you think I don't love you? I'd do anything for you. And just as I hit send, his new message popped up and it said you wrote your book and you got your party. I assume now that I can finally have my GF back, we can have a talk. I don't think you understand how I want our marriage to be, so I want to make things clear. But then he responded to my message, are you kidding me? If you're not going to prioritize me over a book no one but you cares about, why am I even staying with you? I can go find a woman supports her man and wants his career and dreams to be successful. So I said alright. Go find her. We clearly don't work. Best of luck. Him, wait, are you breaking up with me? Me, what do you want me to do? You've made it clear I am not what you want anymore. Him, you can't just break up with me. Me, Chris, please. Him, you can't just make that decision for me. You can break us up like this. It's been 2 years, me 2 years in which one thing I wanted to do, one thing I was proud to have done, and you needed to shit on it. You've been so sour about it and I don't get it. So get your better woman. Him, but you can't just break up with me. We have to talk. He calls. I decline. Him, pick up. You are being ridiculous. He shows up at my door and the second I open it trying to push in, but I hadn't let the chain lock on. He was screaming at me. He said I can't break up with him. It's been 2 years. How do I think it will go for me to try dating again after passing the expiration date for children? That's when I asked him to leave or I would call the police. And he said he will never forgive me for this book as it's ruined me as a person, and for some reasons I said, Chris, take your mediocre stick out of you mediocre ass and be on your mediocre way. And called my parents to tell them what happened. My mom is over now plying me with a mixed drink and she's been making fun of the repeated you can't break up with me line as he said many times in text and bunch in person. She said she was proud because I am usually quite passive and she didn't like him bulldozing over me, and when I asked her what she meant she brought up a lot of things I never really thought about. Chris would shoot me down a lot and I honestly thought I was compromising for our relationship, but it seemed to some that I was just letting him speak for me a lot. 2 years. It feels like a blip in a lifetime at the same time. It's hitting me that it's over and my mom is staying over with me. But I have many WTFs to deal with, just not tonight. Edit/small update. Holy hell, this blew up. I am usually a Reddit lurker on anonymous mode, so I was overwhelmed, and the best way to see all this live and support it made me cry. Good years, I promise. I cried most of my bitter ones a bit last night on my mom's shoulder. She was right, I don't miss him but the version of him I thought he was. And so I choose to look forward. Mom and I stayed up and read comments together. She's not a Reddit gal but loved all your messages and says she's happy to be the Reddit mom. Lol, mom made breakfast this morning and we were eating when there was knock at the door. My mom held a hand up to halt me and got up herself to go to the door and ask who it was. Then I heard her say, you have 15 seconds to leave or you're going to be made to leave. I got up to see mom shouting though the still locked door peeking through my peephole. There was someone on the other side talking back to her, but she just kept steadily counting down. By the time she got to 6, she had put her shoes on and was holding my broom. I'm not stupid, I knew it was him even then, but then my phone went off and I didn't reply. It was him again. He left flowers and an apology card, along with a stuffed owl bear. Mom asked me if I wanted to read the card and I said I did. It basically was a long-winded apology admitting he was being an ass but work has him stressed and he underappreciated in general, and it all came out in a nasty way. He's so sorry. He should have given me space and respected me more, and he will never do it again. He didn't sleep last night feeling so much regret over what he did and will do better. To please call. That he misses me and Mets not throw away 2 good years of foundation away over a stupid fight. I handed it to my mother, who read it, snorting and chuckling "yeah, I bet" to herself, and then stood up and went to the kitchen, returning with a trash bag and my cell phone. "What's the play, coach?" she asked, and just to freak her out I took the phone and pretend to call the pizza shop. "Yes, Domino's. We need a pizza." "Yes, I'm breaking up with my ex and we need to toss his shit out." All that to say it's now evening. The sun is lower and my neighbors are watching my house as I am in my parents' pool in their backyard drinking margaritas with my sister and brother. Mom tells the story to all of them over and over. I had texted him, "Chris, we are done. All of the things you left at my place are in garbage bags on the porch. The neighbors have their camera pointed at the house, so please just take your stuff and go. Don't knock. I am not in. If it's all there on Monday, it goes with the rest of the garbage to the curb." He replied asking if not home, where was I? But I won't be giving energy to this. I will spend the weekend with my family and I feel so lucky to have them. I've decided that I will go for another book. Photos asking for links to this book already out, sorry, but when Mom and I read the comments she said don't you dare put your name out there. They all seem lovely, but you don't know what others will do, and I feel like if I did, it would be like opening the door to Chris like I did last night. You were right, that was dangerous. But if you are looking to do something nice, I would be absolutely overjoyed if you did one or both of two things. 1. Love yourself and truly know you deserve love and nothing less. And 2. Buy books from a locally owned bookstore / buy art from the artist / commission an art pace, etc. The art world is wonderful but also a struggle, and many aren't as lucky as I am to have a strong support system. So support yourself and your local artist. Thank you all. Another edit, sorry there were a lot of same questions in the comments. 1. Yes, we were an interracial couple. I am black / indigenous / Middle Eastern. And he is Irish and French decent. 2. No, I do not want children. The moment I am eligible I will be getting that baby store shut down medically. I would adopt possibly someday, but I would not and should not be pregnant. 3. Chris and I were friends before we started dating, so I thought I knew him and his family well. 4. Mom has always been cordial with him even if she didn't care for him. She did the whole mama thing of hugging him, feeding him, etc. 5. Yes, Mom will adopt you. She says she sends her heart to you and every hug you deserve and more. 6. Dad didn't come over because, and I quote, "you wouldn't have wanted me in a space that boy would also be in given what happened, so he stayed the course of his trip he was on." 7. I intend to be an author, whether it be full-time or part-time. Oddly enough my book sales are skyrocketing a lot online. Oop, Lamau, that was honestly kind of the vibe. I was so upset and called my parents because I tell them everything. My mom was just like, "lock the doors and I will be there in 20 minutes," and showed up with vodka and let me cry, but then I caught her smiling and was like, "WTF Mom," and she admitted she was proud of me for dumping him, and glad she didn't have to go to jail, because if I stayed with him after all that she would have to commit crimes. Lol. Oop, you know that if she doesn't like your partner, you really need to question that relationship. She's being so freaking smug after she reminded me that once she did speak up to me once I got mad at her. She's quoting a line from that animated Jackie Chan show, "Never question unclear at me Lamau." Oop, it's weird because he never hinted that I can recall that he was ever like this. We've got years of history, and I remember him being interested in things I liked and wanted to get involved in. Then my mom reminded me of my painting. I'm not a painter. Mom is. And a charity held a gallery event and the theme was something basic, and I was visiting Mom that week, and when I'm at hers and she's painting I sit with her and drink and we chat. But that day I was in a mood, so Mom struck up an easel next to hers and patted the seat and we painted side by side. She loved my pace and had it submitted for the gallery event. It was a huge event and Mom had a separate exhibit space, but my little basic painting was up in entryway with a handful of others, and Mom pointed it out to Chris and he said it was good and we moved on. But at the end of the night Mom followed us out and suggested Chris and I might want to take a photo of us next to my painting. He said no, so Mom took a photo of me for me and shared it with herself. Chris asked me not to post the photo, saying it was a cry for attention and looked desperate and I was taking away from Mom's shine, so when my mom posted it he was mad at me. Why did I give my mom the photo? Why did she post it? But he suspiciously shared a photo Mom took of him at the same gallery, even shaking hands with a businessman we ran into, stating how proud she was of his work. The more I talk with my mom even now, the more she seemed to pick up on things. I feel bad, but when I asked why she never said anything before, she said she had, but I had gotten angry at her. I can't even remember why.